G'day everyone, it's Justin and Matt, two dads again from BRRRRM Australia. We're coming to you from the Hyundai KONA SUV launch in Canberra today. And I tell you what, we've been lucky enough to get in the back of the car the designer of the KONA. This is Kevin Kang, all the way from America. Kevin,
Hi.
Welcome to BRRRRM Australia.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Kevin, I understand that you actually designed this car.
I was one of the designers, yes,
Okay.
actively
okay.
involved. Yeah.
What can you tell us about the way it's been styled here? I mean,
Sure. The main thing is that it's different. It's youthful. It's active. It's iconic. So what you see inside and out is a styling that you haven't really seen before, that you're probably not completely comfortable with. But that's what we try to do here. Something that is fusing the lifestyle of city and the off-road character into one cohesive design. So here it is.
Okay. I've noticed, I mean, the car to me seems very youthful. I mean, in terms of the exterior styling with the narrow lights and the you know, the I guess the strongness of the design.
Yes.
Was it something that you looked at, like looking at for a younger sort of buyer, or is it something that
Yeah,
everybody
I
wants
think
to buy?
it's, you know, regardless of the younger buyer segment, what we always try to do is capture the youthfulness regardless. I think everybody wants a youthful image. I don't think anybody goes out there to buy an old person's car, per se.
Especially a couple of dads. I
Yeah,
think.
like so if we design for an old person, I don't think that's the right way to approach it. You
Okay.
always want the high energy, you know, the hot blood, and I think that appeals to a lot of people.
Wow, okay. Now, in terms of, this is a question I wanted to ask you, in terms of the design of the car, where was the inspiration from? Did you look at some other different competitor cars and things like that to come up
Yeah,
with this?
in this particular case, we didn't really look at competitor cars to benchmark per se. We just worked with the size of the vehicle.
Right.
We wanted it to be compact and agile and all that, but we drew inspirations from lifestyle. So I think that was part of my presentation is, you know, we look at lifestyles of outdoor activities that, you know, kind of gave us hints at what we could incorporate in terms of styling. So on the outside, we have the feature called the armor around the wheels, like this fender cladding around the wheels, which we were inspired by things like ice hockey gear and, you know, the mountain biking, the rough protective gear of mountain bikers, and that's where we drew the inspiration from. So not necessarily automotive, but we tend to look outside for motivation.
Okay. Now, when Matt and I look at a car, we tend to look at it from the point of view of it being fun and family friendly, because, you know, being older dads, I guess, you know, we want to get back into something that's a bit more fun to drive as well as, you know, fun. But I can see a lot of fun in this car. You can see a lot of fun in this car, Matt, can't you?
Oh yeah.
Just the way it looks. You know, it's not conservative, but it's not too out there either. I think it's hit the right spot. I think it's just the right spot.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that balance is very hard to maintain. You know, you can put something that's really far out there and look really crazy, but it may scare some people, right?
Yeah.
So we always make sure that that line is kept, and, you know, it should be adventurous and new enough, but not too crazy. And I think with this car, we try to keep that balance just right.
And I heard before that you said that your wife is an engineer.
Yes,
is that
she is,
correct?
yes.
So, who wins in those arguments? The engineering side or the design side?
Of course, I think, you know, as in my household, I think it's very important to have the other opinion. I think in every household it's the same, right? You try to meet at the happy medium, and this is exactly what happens in the world of automotive design. Is designers are very emotional people. We like things that look cool, but sometimes it could be not practical. Sometimes it could be too expensive, right? So you want the engineers to come in and tell you,
Bring you
this
back
is
down to
this is
earth.
where we have to go, right? The price has to be right. You know, we gotta feed the kids, right? We gotta send them to college, which means you're not gonna drive a Porsche, but, you know, but that's how it is. I mean, it's like, you know, designing the car, it was the same thing. We proposed a model that we thought was our dream stage, as we call it, in the first stage of the process, and then the engineers come in and tell us the reality. But we have to respect it, because it's for the masses, and, you know, it's not a one-off show car. So, you know, in the end, you want a product that has very high ergonomic friendliness, and, you know, like things like touchscreens have to work properly. So we work together, and in the end, this is the result.
Yeah, we when we look at a car and on our reviews, we have this thing called the X factor, and what we say is, like, is it something that you would look back after you park the car, or you'd look at a
yeah,
reflection of the
very
car.
important.
And
Yeah.
I've got to say, I think this has got the X factor in this car.
I'm very glad to hear that, and that was the main intent. And I think one thing that I can mention is when we started the design process of this car, usually, you're given a lot of instructions how to design the car, style it a certain way. But this one, in the beginning, I remember they said just go free, make something iconic.
Wow.
It's basically all the instructions we got, and I think it shows. I think in the design of the car, like as you mentioned, it looks fun. And it looks like somebody had fun designing it, and that's the most important thing.
I agree with you there, mate. And I've got to say congratulations. It's a great looking car. We've driven it. We're very impressed, I think.
Oh, great.
Matt? Yeah.
Very much so. Hit the mark.
Yeah,
great.
Definitely.
Very glad to hear that.
So, Kevin, thank you very much for having a chat to us today.
Thank you for having me.
And guys, we'll see you later.
All right.